Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, the queen of feeling fabulous. And welcome to the Blissful Living Podcast. I have a phenomenal show for you today with one of my good friends and mentors in this game of what we call entrepreneurship. And we're going to be having a nice dialogue with regards to sharing some wisdom with you all about WEW and how WEW has these pillars that can help you elevate your business in your life. So that's my little tickler. But as you know, I like to say, first of all, if you like the show, please share the show with everyone you know and subscribe to the show so you get advanced notifications of when the show is going to be happening and who the guests are. Okay. And you know, I also like to say, take this time right now while I go through the housekeeping stuff, but take this time to find a place to sit, gather something to write with your favorite pen, pencil, get your favorite beverage, and tell your family just to give you a few moments for yourself so you can really absorb the golden nuggets that is going to be dropped upon you today. And while you do that, let me take care of business. I want to thank our sponsors, Blissful Living for You at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. Check them out. If you're into enhancing your wellness, you need to work on getting that mindset right, or you want to make sure your wealth is tight so that you can leave a legacy for your family and your future generations, then you want to check out Blissful Living for You. They have something to satisfy every one of those pillars of wellness, wisdom, and wealth, and help you elevate and amplify your life so that you can live the life of your dreams. Now, our next sponsor, All Day Cable Incorporated, is a telecommunications installation company located in the heart of Silicon Valley, San Jose, California, and they specialize in network distribution setup, so installation of voice data, fiber optic cabling, audio, video, wireless systems, monitor, router, modems, all that kind of stuff, so that when you go to make the connection with your customer on the other end, you make that connection right the first time. They service small, medium, and large corporations, as well as local, state, and federal government entities. So if you're looking for a telecom company that has the right solutions for you to keep you not at today's game, but ahead of the schedule when it comes to telecommunications, you want to check out alldaykableInc.com. Okay, so now that I took care of business, let's tell you about our phenomenal WEW, as I say, or wow lady. Her name is Betty Hines, and she is a seasoned business strategist, connector, and certified advanced facilitator specializing in women-led business organizations that she actually supports. As the CEO and founder of Women Elevating Women, WEW, Betty leverages her extensive experience to address the unique challenges faced by women entrepreneurs. And we know we face some unique things that are a lot different than men, right? Now, WEW is a global organization that fosters collaboration and growth through its 5 pillars of connect, collaborate, communicate, courage, and cultivate. Betty's notable achievements include receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award from President Biden in January 2025 for her exceptional contributions to empowering women entrepreneurs, and the state of Maryland's governor citation on December 10, 2024. In appreciation of her outstanding services to citizens of the state, she was honored with the Community Impact Champion Award from Health Lead Her, the Entrepreneurial Elevation Award, and from the Black Door Society, the 2023 DC Chamber of Commerce Women in Business Champion of the Year Award, and recognized by Maryland's Daily Record as an empowering woman. Betty currently serves on the global board of directors for the Women's Presidents Organization, otherwise known as WPO, and she is a proud University of Michigan alumni. She resides in Maryland with her husband, Ernest. And we want to say welcome, me and all my personalities. Welcome to the Blissful Living Podcast, Betty. It is such a pleasure and honor to have you. And thank you for taking time out of your busy day to have this conversation with me. So, you know, I know all about WEW. And I am a champion for women, elevating women, especially when it comes to business and in our lives. And so I want to jump into the conversation and ask you, what inspired you to create Women Elevating Women?
Sure, thank you. And I'm just thrilled to be here. You and I have worked together. We've seems like the last month or so we've been together quite a bit on TV. Just
Well, that's how queens recognize other queens, and we kind of ebb and flow in the same playground, right?
So I'm just very thrilled. But what inspired me is that after coming out of corporate America as a C-suite executive, and I will say that once you're in that role as a C-suite executive, in the back of your mind, you're always thinking, I'm making all this money for the corporation. It's time for me to do for me. And that's where I was. Then I joined the organization, the global organization, WPO, almost 20 years. 19, 20 years. And so I was always working with multi-million and some billion-dollar women. So after, I want to say maybe 15 years, and I'm still part of that organization of working with the local chapters, these multi-million-dollar women. And that number pre-COVID was just at 4%. Post-COVID, we're hanging in there with 2%. So I realized there's another 8 to 10% in this country that are at that 6 figures, and they plateau. Or some people say they're stuck. They just don't know how to elevate and scale. So I thought it was in my best interest, and my purpose and passion is to take the knowledge that I had from being an entrepreneur and from being an executive and share those gifts, that knowledge with this group, ergo Women Elevating Women, or WEW.
I love it. I love it. I love how, you took you from quote the professional role, right? And then open up your own playground so you can build the playground as you desire it to be to help those you desire to serve. With regards to that, did you find any challenges when you initially began connecting with women for WEW? I
did, from the standpoint that women are very, very humble and they don't like to ask for help or support. Actually, they don't look for that kind of support. And so it's okay. And what the conversation that I have with the women, you don't have to do it alone. There's a team of women out there that are trying to do the very same thing, that they want to be able to support their families, support their careers. They too want to have an economic impact, not just in their community, within their household. So you don't have to do it alone, because the challenges that they face, others have faced. So why try to do it alone? And if someone else can share their experiences, so you don't have to have those same missteps, which is why I did it. That's why I became an entrepreneur, and that's why I share it. Why repeat the process? Why not learn from others? And that's what I try to get, the other women to know and to share that information.
That's interesting, because when I first started as an entrepreneur, I was that solo person, isolating myself in my office and had no idea of running a business. I was in my early 20s. But one of the things I can say is that when an opportunity was bestowed upon me to connect with other women business owners in Silicon Valley, I kind of was a little shy, but I jumped out of that shy role and went. And that was a huge game changer for my business. It actually allowed me to connect with women that were already doing 9 figures in Silicon Valley. That took me under their wing and showed me the things that I needed to know that I didn't even know I needed to know, right? And from the community and those connections, not only did collaborations happen, but I was able to take my business from 6 figures to 7 figures. And so I truly believe in the power of community connection, collaboration, and the stuff we're going to talk about with regards to the 5 pillars. But we've got to take a break, and we will be right back to the Blissful Living Podcast with my phenomenal guest, Betty Hines, in just a few moments. Hang tight. We'll see you in a minute. Okay, we are back to the Blissful Living Podcast, and this is Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, with my fabulous guest, Betty Hines, and we are talking about why she decided to create an organization for women called Women Elevating Women. There's some wonderful context in the words Women Elevating Women, because most oftentimes men or others see women as being catty and not supportive of each other. And, sometimes there's a little shade going on, a little undercover jealousy. But what we've both discovered is that's not necessarily the case when you're a woman entrepreneur and you're looking to connect deeply with other women. So this leads me into, tell us, Betty, about the 5 pillars of success. And I want to dive deep into those 5 pillars.
Sure. And I'm glad you mentioned about the men, because as you well know, you've been to our conferences, we honor visionary men, and that's at our conference. So I believe that it takes a community, and a community not just of women, but of men, everybody. So our pillars were basically developed, and they're our foundation from my observation of successful women entrepreneurs and successful women executives. And what I see that these characteristics that they hold, the first one is being able to collaborate. Women need to learn how to collaborate more. We're getting better at it, but it's not something that's been part of our repertoire to collaborate with one another. And that is very important. You can scale, as they say, much further and go much further in a collaboration. So collaborate being one of them. Connect is another pillar. And when we talk about connect, it's those strategic introductions. Just like you've been through BDS, you were introduced to me, and then we've just expanded with other partners that we have to do those strategic introductions. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone that you would do business with, but we're out there all the time. So when you see someone or an opportunity that might not fit within your bandwidth, it could be very favorable for someone else that's in your community. So we need to do those strategic introductions. And one thing about the strategic introductions, when you do that introduction, I don't care what certifications or what organizations you belong to, if that person knows you, to some extent, you've already been vetted. And they're going to do their own vetting, but that just gives you a nice entry into that organization, the community, or whatever. Then we talk about communicate. That's branding, and that's what you do very well. Branding is the communicate pillar, the personal, but also the business brand. Women, again, I say, tend to be very, very humble. But if you've noticed the successful executives and successful entrepreneurs, they have a brand. They might have a corporate brand, but they also have their personal brand. And the other one that we talk about is courage, not just about being big and strong, but it's courage to take care of your personal and your business wealth. You have to have the courage to do that. And the other is the mental. Courage to take care of your mental and your physical health. That was really elevated when COVID came about. There were women who were entrepreneurs that were also moms, and they might have had partners or friends, but they found themselves, which they normally weren't doing, cleaning the house, doing the laundry, and becoming a teacher while they're running a multi-million-dollar business. So and there's still some remnants of that. So we talk about you have to take care of your mental and your physical health. And the last one that you will always see in successful entrepreneurs and executives is the cultivate pillar. Cultivate comes in a lot of different forms. You will find them sitting on for-profit boards, nonprofit boards, but sharing their knowledge. Learn how to cultivate, to reach back. And that's also very, very rewarding. And I will share one of our members, her company is Story Lead. She said to me both days, she says, you know what? In terms of cultivation, she says, you will never be that auntie that takes that favorite sweet potato pie recipe to your grave. And I said, no, I won't be. Because when you take it to your grave, now we've all had that. I've got some family members that had the best potato salad, they might leave out an ingredient. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
And I said, no, because when you do that, the legacy dies. So I won't do that. And that's what we have to learn to do. When we talk about cultivating, we have to share that knowledge with those who are trying to get to where we are.
I love what you said, and really about the last part. I remember growing up and, asking questions. I was kind of inquisitive, but I also watched and observed everything. And I had a mouth on me, so I was always getting popped in the mouth for saying something, right? But I would ask questions about, like, we go to the gas station back in the day when you actually had somebody pumping your gas, right? I'd roll down the window and, stick my head out and ask the man, his name was Mr. Conley, Mr. Conley, what else do you do besides pump gas and fix cars? And my aunt, one day, I would ask him all the time. And he would always give me this cute, different answer all the time. Oh, you're so cute, baby. And he'd give me a different answer, right? So one day I did it, and my aunt, she turned around and she looked at me and she said, girl, if you don't stop asking him questions, it's none of your business what he does. If you don't stop asking him questions, I'm going to pop you. And I was like, but why? I want to know, because one day I might grow up to be a business owner, and I want to know. And she just kind of chuckled, and but it was just that inquisitiveness and that curiosity of asking. Now, I also sat on a board of directors for about 25 years for a healthcare organization in California, where I was the only female. That's pretty much the only woman of color, right, on the board. But I was also the only colored person. And what I learned from these gentlemen was how gentlemen think and do business, and how women think and we do business, and how it's a little different. Guys have no problem going to the golf course and shooting a 9 or 18 and making business deals. Women, we have problems going to the shoot. We have problems going to the mall where we can also do business deals, right? You know what I'm saying? We like to shop. Women generally like to shop, and we have problems doing that. So I'm just saying, ladies, there's power when you get in a community and you can connect and communicate about what you do. We got to take a quick break, but we will be right back with the fabulous Betty Hines, and we're going to be talking more about WEW. We'll be right back to the Blissful Living Podcast. Okay, hey, welcome back. I am Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson, and I'm talking to Betty Hines, and we're discussing WEW and the power of this organization that she created after being in a C-suite executive, and understanding and looking and observing that there's something that women entrepreneurs need. And so why not let me create what they need? Now, I want to ask you this, Betty, with regards to WEW, because I've been in a few organizations, and I'm still very fond, and I still am in those organizations. It's been a minute. I hate to say 30 years, but some of them are about 30 years that I've been in. How is your program with WEW different than other accelerator or business cohorts?
Sure. I think for me, the key differentiator for WEW and others is that our target market is for those who are under $1 million. We don't take startup operations. And there's a place for those who want to do startups, but we take those individuals, we take corporate executives and entrepreneurs, and a lot of organizations don't. And for the reasons that I shared earlier, that when you are a executive and you're doing 6 figures, you basically got your own little mini P&L. So we take both. We take the executive and the entrepreneur, and we bring them together. And that's one of the differentiators, is that we're trying to, or we do is scale them to $1 million. We use an airport model, that when one takes off, we bring another one in. So unlike some organizations that I belong to as well, I had members in one of my other organizations, because I was the chair, that had been with me like 16, 17 years. That is not WEW. We want to give you the necessary tools, tips, and techniques so you can stay with us as a member at large, or you can go somewhere else, find somewhere else, and you can gain some more information. So that's the model. And the beautiful thing about WEW, another distinction, is that we have a big sister, so to speak. We are partnered with Women Presidents Organization. So my members, once they scale there, they get to go there. We also get mentors for them from the Women Presidents Organization. The lastly, clear distinction from ours is that we are driven by content based off those 5 pillars. And you were on the panel when we were talking about the courage pillar. And as you will know, everybody on that panel had strong credentials. And it was all relevant to the audience, the women in the audience. So we are really driven by our content. And that's why in our sessions, we go over the 5 pillars. It might be different speakers, might be different presenters, but they all have value. It's all might be looking from a different set of lenses. So that's where our clear distinctions are, is that we are supporting your scale to $1 million, where a lot of them are trying to take from here. I have individuals in my group that are on my advisory council and my CEO advisors that are doing $500 million, but they're my advisors. And they will speak at our pillar meetings, because, as you say, a lot of people say, if you see it, you can believe it. So that is the clear distinctions that we have.
I like it. I like it how you basically lift and then you allow that birdie to fly to the next level. And I can speak of that. I mean, I was a member of WPO for a long time and getting back into it. And I was a member of WEW. And it's a beautiful thing because not many organizations do that. And the other thing, I'm also a mentor for one of the gals in WEW. You guys, I felt so honored. But a lot of organizations don't do that. They're structured as to keep you in it no matter what. You can have a business and you've gone bankrupt. You know what I mean? I'm keeping it real, and you can still be in the organization. Whereas yours is strategically set up to not only coddle, I want to say, the baby entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurs, but also to help coddle them to a place where they can fly out of the nest and go to the next level. And I think that's powerful because many, we know women organizations are not like that. Not saying it's bad.
Right.
I think most of the ones I know and I've been involved have been really, really good. But there's a difference. And I like how you have a differentiator with regards to WEW and what WEW is all about. So great, y'all. I'm just saying, it's a great organization. If you're an entrepreneur and you're a lady looking to come off that iceberg and come to the land of good and plenty, so to speak, then you definitely want to check out WEW. And there'll be more information with regards to this in the show notes and everything. But I want to ask you, Betty, this question, because I think it's important for those that are watching us and listening to us. It's very important with regards to WEW. How do you identify a candidate that's a good fit for WEW?
Well, actually, the candidate identifies us. For one thing, a lot of individuals, a lot of women or entrepreneurs who are starting up, they don't have the time to do an in-person meeting. And we recognize that. Yeah. Also, a lot of the candidates, if you are in some of these organizations, it's people that you already know. So it's recycling of information because they're within a 20, 25 mile radius. And if you've been around, you know them. So for WEW, we intentionally did it virtually so we can bring people from diverse parts of the region, north, south, west, east, Africa, Canada. It's intentional so you can get that diverse information. So they really self-identify with us, particularly if they don't have time to go to an in-person meeting. But we do have, as you all know, once a year, our global conference. And this year will be in Chicago, October 22nd to the 24th. And then we get an invitation to the WPO, to our big sister conference, which is going to be coming up next month. And that's in well, you're there now, San Antonio. So we'll be there in San Antonio, the 7th through the 9th. So that is very important, to be sensitive to the woman's time. So we come where they are. And right now, some of the women want the virtual. A lot of the women want the virtual.
I think it does work. The structure of it does work very well because we have technology available to us. So why not use it? Back before COVID, we didn't really have it like we do now. And then secondly, being anywhere in the world, you can still connect and collaborate deeply with women, even though it's virtually. It's funny, you go to the conference, you're like, hey, you already know like 17 people. You know what I mean? It's like because you've been seeing them on the calls. Okay, we got to take one quick break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to the Blissful Living Podcast. And we're coming into the home stretch here. And I want to extrapolate as much information and wisdom out of this fabulous Queen, Betty Hines, that I have in front of me to help you all with regards to what you're doing. So, Betty, you talked about something, and I don't want to leave it dangling. You talked about the conference that's coming up in Chicago. Can you share a little bit more about the conference? What is the theme? Is it necessary for you to be a member of WEW to attend the conference? Do you need to have a secret password?
No. Our theme going into this year is Step Boldly. So it's going to be a different theme because that's going to be in October. But we're doing a pop-up next week in Chicago just to gain some interest. We're doing a pop-up. It's free. It's going to be in partnership with Capital One at their cafe downtown on Michigan Avenue. So it's from 4 to 6. So we're doing that's a preemptive to our conference. No, you do not need to be a member. You're going to get a ton of information. We're going to have our speakers, same format that we've had in the past, always on the 5 pillars. And we usually tap into those individuals who are experts in their field within the surrounding area. And the highlight is there's 2 highlights. We have our luncheon awards, which is the pillar awards. We honor 5 women in each one of our categories and 12 visionary men. The night before, the kickoff of our conference is called the Entrepreneur Woman of Impact Award. And that is for women all in North America, women of color. We select 8 women with revenues from $500,000 to $1 million, 8 women, $1 million to $10 million, and then 8, $10 million and above. That's a beautiful event, and it's graciously sponsored by JP Morgan Chase. So you get there, you're going to gain a lot of information and a lot of networking. We are not trying to conquer the world. We always keep our conferences small, between 125, 150, because the big conferences are great, but you really don't get a chance to meet everybody. So for that reason, we keep them small and intimate so you can get more engagement.
You guys listening, watching, ladies, gentlemen, if you can, and anywhere around Chicago in that area, get your ticket and go. The event was phenomenal. One of my favorite things about Philadelphia was meeting Jade. She was so bomb. She was so bomb. And we went, before I even knew who she was, I didn't really pay attention to the speaker photos, but she complimented on my outfit. I'm complimenting on her. And come to find out, she's like, one of the keynotes. And I was like, oh my God, she was phenomenal. And then the first lady,
Sean.
Yes.
Sean Shaw.
Just another phenomenal speaker, powerful, empowering. But I want to say one of my favorite things, not just the food, but one of my favorite things was the honoring of those women from 1 million to from 500,000 to 1 million, 1 million to 10 and above, to see those ladies in the room, and they before you even know who they are, they're just mingling, they big time. Was just absolutely amazing. And so if you're anywhere in the Chicago area or out, or anywhere in the North America, and you're an entrepreneur or are thinking about taking your business to the next level, this is a conference you definitely want to be at. So Betty, can you give the information one more time before we close out the show today?
Sure. You can go on the website, wewcrew.com. That's WWCREW.com. And our conference is October 22nd to the 24th, and it'll be held in Chicago. And we're making the hotel will be at the Westin. That should be on our website within the next week.
Okay, perfect. So there you all have it, the information. And again, if you have time, even if you can go for a day, go. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. You will come out more enriched, and you never know who's in the house that you connect with that can actually help you get to where you want to be, meet that person you desire to meet, or whatever it is. You never know. The power in networking, community connection, collaboration, courage, and cultivating success among women and men is very important. Yes. All right. This is the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, Dr. Rochel Marie Lawson. I'm thanking our sponsors, Blissful Living for You at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com, as well as All Day Cable Incorporated, the phenomenal telecom installation company. Thanking both of our sponsors, and All Day Cable is at alldaykableinc.com. Until next time, everyone, I am wishing you peace to your mind, wellness to your body, tranquility to your spirit, and wealth into your life. Wealth that you can leave as a legacy for your future generations. Until next time, everyone, goodbye for now.
Bye.